The rain is coming down, and there are plenty of clouds in the sky, but the sun is shining on Cary, North Carolina, Soccer City, USA, at least until next week, as we bring you Day 2 of the TST live from the Wake Med Soccer Park. This will be a Group E matchup that features the undefeated Pumas de Alabama and the local legends Dark Horse NC United. Folks, my name's Christian Filliman, but you could call me Philly, and I'm back here for the 10th time, and you could hear it in my voice, to bring you all the action on what's been my home and ecosystem the last 24 hours, Field 4. And we are underway. Pumas de Alabama wearing that mustard yellow kit, and Dark Horse wearing the pink kit with the black sleeves and shorts. Couple of housekeeping items for you before we go into the teams. This is a 7v7 tournament. The winner at the end of this tournament is going to be given a cash prize, a big bag of money, 7 figures to be exact, $1 million. 7v7, 2 20-minute halves, running clock. The only time it stops is if the official calls a timeout or there is an injury on the turf. There are no offside, no slide tackles, no throw-ins. More importantly, no ties. Every single game ends in a game winner within what's called the target score time, and we'll give you more of an explanation of that as we head into the second half. The TST, an acronym for the soccer tournament. Let's talk about the teams that we are watching. The local boys, Dark Horse NC United, a club that was started by an individual by the name of Brett Long. A love for soccer. He started playing as a kid, ended up playing football at UNC, and put this club together out of a love for soccer along with his good buddy Jackson Wicker. And, well, the idea was that they would field a team for the 2026 TST tournament, but they managed to get in this year and had just a couple of months to put a team together of talent that could compete. And compete they are. But they have a tough task ahead of them as they take on Pumas de Alabama, who nearly just score a goal right there. Pumas de Alabama is a club out of, you guessed it, Birmingham, Alabama. Consists of a lot of very talented players that have a history of going around the country and winning in cash prize tournaments. I know this because I've seen them. I know this because I've called their games. This is a highly talented team with a lot of highly skilled mercenaries and assassins. Why are they called Pumas? Well, the owner, Juan Luis, a big fan of Liga MX side Pumas. So hence the name, and they have been on an absolute tear within the TST tournament. They are undefeated, 9 goals for, and nearly 1 right there. Dark Horse United very much alive in this tournament. They are 1-1. They have scored 8 goals. So that's a little bit about the background on both teams. The player to watch out for on Dark Horse, I'd have to say, would be number 16, Benji Osei. Osei would be the talisman to keep an eye on. And for Pumas de Alabama, he is a defender. But number 37, Uriel Zuart, is a shutdown defender that competed for a very successful team in the Major Arena Soccer League called the Chihuahua Savage. Back-to-back Ron Newman Cup champions. Also keep your eyes on number 7, Miguel Morales, the big target forward for Pumas de Alabama, as our official Ryan Sigic calls a foul on the pitch. Pumas won their first game of the TST against Sayward, defeating them by a score of 5-2. Then yesterday, in what was an extremely juicy, exciting, and entertaining game of soccer, defeated the Reggae Rovers. And then as far as Dark Horse is concerned, they fell to the Reggae Rovers by a score of 5-1, but managed to claw their way back into a dub, defeating Sayward by a score of 4-2. So top 2 teams from the groups get to go on, but obviously we have 8 that can move on as well to the round of 32 on the basis of their record in group play, goal differential, total goals, and a penalty shootout. And so those third-place finishers will be ranked on very similar metrics. And so Pumas de Alabama looking to finish the group stages undefeated. This could be a team that could make it very far within this tournament. Cash certainly rules everything around them as they have gone consistently around the country with a team of players that have chemistry together. And the chemistry part is very evident with the fluidity of their movements and their ball passing and their shot stopping has been fantastic as well. starting in between the sticks for Dark Horse United is Jacob Smith. Jacob Smith out of William Peace University here in Raleigh, North Carolina. And back in between the pipes for Pumas, Alabama, would be Luis Gomez. Gomez was a big factor in Pumas' win right here on this pitch less than 24 hours ago against the Reggae Rovers. Thus far, Pumas is maintaining the lion's share of possession as that ball gets stripped. Dark Horse is on the run. Pumas quickly tracking back. Cross goes into the box, but easily intercepted by Gomez. We're on track for a watershed year in terms of attendance here at the TST. 35% growth from last year. A lot of people coming in from out of town. I've had conversations from people from all across the world, from Plymouth, from Wales, from the city of Wrexham, even as closely as, well, Cary. But the beauty of this tournament is it continues to grow. It's expanded itself. We're now up to 48 teams for the men. We started at 32 a couple of years ago. And now we have a women's division that has expanded. In fact, they kicked off today. Some very exciting games. Hope Solo's team is a factor within this tournament. You might want to check that out. The first shot deflected. Another player to keep your eye out on for Pumas would be Jose Medina, number 77. He scored in the game last night against the Reggae Rovers. Pass comes inside, nearly inside of the box. It does. The shot. Easy save for Jacob Smith. Jacob Smith going to look to restart things. So substitutions getting ready to come in. A couple of rule changes from last year that we have to take note. Can be no more than 3 players inside the substitution area. Only the captain can address the referees in times of controversy. We'll see if Ryan Sigic, the official on the field, has his work cut out for him as a shot goes but saved by Gomez. Dark Horse has brought themselves a fair amount of fans here standing to the left. You see the local team looking to make some noise here in a tournament that is home to them. In the town of a tournament, I should say, that is home to them. And so far, giving Pumas to Alabama a bit of a run for their money. Pumas competed in a cash prize tournament that I called about a year or so ago in a city in Southern California called Rancho Cucamonga. And they absolutely shredded through the opposition. And they've been really shredding through this TST tournament so far. 9 goals in the last 2 games. An average for 4.5, clearly. Our player to watch I mentioned on Dark Horse, Benjamin Osei, played in the TST for Tobacco Road. Had time with Valley United FC and Greenville United in the NPSL. There you see Uriel Zuart wearing number 37. A shutdown defender who's normally responsible for marking the most problematic forwards in the Major Arena Soccer League. And he fires one in, and Jacob Smith gets the save. Zuart, no stranger to firing golazos from that type of a distance. As far as how big this pitch is, if you're at home wondering, 65 yards long is that shot, well into the nether regions. 65 yards long, 45 meters wide. The goal 6.5 feet tall, 18.5 feet wide. And I know those that have tuned into these broadcasts for the 9 times that I've been calling them have been hearing a lot of this stuff, the Department of Redundancy Department. But we get new fans tuning into these broadcasts all the time. So while things might be redundant for many of you, and we welcome you back, of course, these are new to those that haven't tuned into this broadcast. So welcome and thank you for tuning in to this TST broadcast brought to you on YouTube. Pumas receiving the ball right on that Coca-Cola sponsor. In fact, I've been calling games here. This is my 10th game, and I think that's the first time I noticed the Coca-Cola sponsor right on that pitch. Rain is going to be coming down for the majority of the day. We have had reports of potential lightning, but the games will go on, It's important because this is game 2 in the final day of the group stages as we head into the knockout rounds tomorrow. Pumas de Alabama in a very good position to move forward and move on, whereas Dark Horse United is looking to stay alive, looking to upset the undefeated members of Group E. And if they could do it with the crowd here that's around to support them, what a gift that would be and what an incredible memory. A lot of players on this Pumas de Alabama team have played in and around Mexico, whether it had been professionally outdoor, whether it had been on the national stage playing futsal, like Luis Magana, for example, played for the Mexican national futsal team. He was also a member of last year's TST winning team, La Bombonera, which featured a team predominantly from Mexico. The Chihuahua Savage was that club. They have since split off. Boca Dallas, a big portion of that. Pumas de Alabama, a part of it. La Mexicana also. Football Rapido, a very big thing down south of the border. As that ball stays in play. Miguel Georgiana goes towards his left. Georgiana has it just outside of the box with space, looking to cut through. And that one gets deflected out of play. It's going to stay Pumas. Set piece opportunity here is the boys from Birmingham. Put it into play. Headed out of the danger zone. Picked right back up, but recovered by Pumas. Georgiana has a brother, Miguel and Eder. Running through it, poking it back to his keeper. Number 32, William Lorenz, goes by the nickname Tate, is on the run. Lorenz played collegiately at UNC and Wake Forest. Settling in with the North Carolina Fusion, Salem City of USL League 2. So we have plenty of players on Dark Horse that have played Division I, played in the NPSL, played in the USL. And let's see how they can compete against a team from Birmingham. That is where Pumas' owner is based, but a lot of these players that travel, a lot of them call Mexico home. Uriel Zuar, for example, the city of Chihuahua. It's not a place that is on many people's vacation lists, but I've managed to call games down there on 4 occasions, and Chihuahua is awesome. A lot of friendly people, and not even because of any recency bias, the best steak I ever had. Rain really starting to come down here at the Wake Med Soccer Park, the home of the NC Courage. There's a shot fired, saved by Smith. The rebound comes back. Pumas still hanging on to possession. Looking to make another run in. Number 6, Johnny McNeil, a very big body, is going to be charged with taking a look. As you see a foul on the pitch. Now Miguel Morales wearing number 7, you see him coming right off the pitch. He was Pumas' big body in the matchup against Reggae Rovers. But I don't think he's seen a player as physical and as tall as Johnny McNeil. So Johnny McNeil is going to give Pumas' target forward a run for his money. Johnny McNeil played with the University of the South, that's in Tennessee, for Wake FC in the USL League 2, and Fayetteville Fury. Fayetteville Fury has a indoor team. So still deadlocked at 0-0. Goose egg between both sides. Pumas just a little more possession and a little more threatening. Dark Horse United looking to absorb a lot of the attack and potentially catch Pumas on a counter. But this Pumas team is physical and fast, and they track back very well. Nearly losing it to Reggae Rovers yesterday. They had a comfortable lead 3-0, and Shea Benny, the futsal and football legend out of Trinidad and Tobago, very good at contributing to his teammates, really made this a game. Got a little hairy, it was 3-3, but Pumas ends up winning it in target score time. Shot deflects, And you can see how fired up Johnny McNeil is. Not very many players on the attacking front for Pumas de Alabama can match McNeil's size and physicality. Uriel Zuart can, but he is a player mostly focused on defense. Recovered and picked off by Dark Horse, but there you could just see the speedy defensive response by Pumas as they quickly recover. Now are just resetting themselves offensively. Space inside the box. A lot of pink kits converging and shot well above the crossbar. But a solid attempt for Ernesto Valdez-Torres. He's played with Mexico's seven sides, even in tournaments as prestigious as Copa Libertadores. Dark Horse looking to come out of their defensive end of the pitch. A nice Meg pass. This could be an opportunity here for James Carroll. The pass in the shot. And Luis Gomez does get a boot on it. James Carroll also competed in the TST with Tobacco Road FC. Went to Elon University. Poked away. Recovered and kicked out of danger. Recovered back by Parker O'Farrell. NCFC USL, also as a Tar Heel, went to UNC Chapel Hill. Seen a couple of players that called UNC home. Zach Lloyd was in the Final Four in 2008 and 2009 with the Tar Heels. 180 caps with FC Dallas. Part of 10-15. 10-15's had a nice run here at TST. Hanging on to it is Valdez-Torres. Ball is just stuck to his feet, poked away. Dark Horse on the run, but they do not have the numbers as they opt to go backwards.
Approximately 3.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
Kofi Apiagi gotten a lot of touches on the ball today. At Triangle United, he too went to William Peace University. TST experience with Tobacco Road. He was on the team that lost to the Reggae Rovers in the round of 32. See how rough and hazardous the pitch can possibly be. It looked very pristine as we started things off here on day one back at 8:30 a.m. yesterday. The amount of games that I've called here, that seems like forever and a day ago. And so we're about 2 minutes and 24 seconds away from halftime. Low-scoring affairs on this field today. Brown Ballers had a brilliant upset victory against Villarreal earlier. And not only upsetting Villarreal, it had a team featuring a lot of Villarreal legends. They skunked them, winning by a score of 2-0. Ruben Gill with the game winner. In fact, that's a big reason as to why my voice is a little hoarse right now, is because I think I came close to blowing out my larynx, making that call on Ruben Gill's tremendous goal. Taken away. Pass in on that right side to Apiagi. John Conley wearing number 25, part of that run, but as quickly as they make their runs, just as quickly, Pumas rolls back. Comfortably spreading the ball around. 22, Christopher Castillo Mejia. Plays with the Mexico Beach soccer team. Also played with La Bombonera last year, who won the TST. Also with Liga MX's futsal side, 7v7 side. Along with Miguel Morales, the two biggest bodies that Pumas has. The small-sided players are the ones that have found a great deal of success, as we've mentioned time and time again. That gentleman right there has experience on the beach side. You want to watch some fun, entertaining soccer. Beach soccer's fun. There's a shot saved by Smith. Zuart heads it back. About 22 seconds remaining here in this first half. You don't hear any lightning yet, but can lightning strike here before we head back to a break? Pumas pressuring. That one launches well up and beyond and above the trees. One final run potentially here. Pass out of the box, broken up. Johnny McNeil makes another tremendous defensive play. So Ryan Sigic is going to blow his whistle, which signals the end of the first half. So we're going to head into our halftime break with the score 0-0. Goose egg thus far, nobody finding the back of the net. But with another half to go, plenty of action still to be had here on Field 4. When we come back, we'll tell you a little bit about the shots. We'll explain that target score time, and we hope to give you some more exciting soccer. Live from Cary, North Carolina, here on Field 4 of Wake Med Soccer Park. Back in a moment. Welcome back for the start of the second half here on Field 4 at Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary, North Carolina, where you are watching Pumas to Alabama take on the local team, Dark Horse NC United, in what has turned out to be a very wet and rainy morning, actually afternoon. I've lost track of time myself. Scoreless so far starting the second half. Pumas would end with 10 shots fired with 4 on target. Dark Horse with 4 shots, but 3 of them on target. And so they've been a little more decisive and threatening with the amount of shots that they've had the opportunity to take. But anytime they've had an opportunity to go out on the run, Pumas has quickly tracked back, not really allowing much of an advantage for the boys from North Carolina. North Carolina versus Alabama contest, as a lot of these players from Dark Horse are from this area. Pumas based out of Birmingham, Alabama. Shot goes in, or close to in, broken up. Now, I will say there have been plenty of fantabulous, yes, we'll call that a word, defensive plays. That was done by John Connolly. Johnny McNeil, the big-bodied center back from Dark Horse, wearing number 6. He's also made some big plays. Pumas trying to thread it through to Miguel Miralles. As Apiagi tried to make his run, he quickly sees the blazing speed exhibited there by Hugo Isaac Rodriguez. Pass goes into Irving Mauro. Back over to Jose Amaro Rios. Jose Amaro Rios played with the Monterrey Flash in the Major Arena Soccer League. Almost gets threaded through. But a regular for Pumas to Alabama. In Football Rapido, the man's won plenty of trophies. So many players on this team that I've seen in and around the world of Football Rapido. We all come to the sport, watch those traditional teams in England, in Spain, in Italy. Obviously here in Mexico, we had a lot of fans come out to support Club America and see their legendary player, Miguel Layun, who had a great career overseas. But there are so many fun leagues on the small side, as you can see with the development of the TST. And the TST was just so popular. So a couple of spin-off leagues have come from it as well. You also see the rise of Gerard Piqué's Kings League, which started in Spain, but has obviously grown since and gone to plenty of other continents. One player in particular that I know that I thought would be here, David Ortiz, competed in this TST tournament, but he's down in the Kings League playing right now, or at least getting ready to.
We have 17 and a half minutes remaining in the second half.
Stripped. Could be a dangerous counter for Pumas. The shot gets fired, punched away by Jacob Smith. Jacob Smith didn't have to work too hard to make that save off of Miguel Georgiana Hernandez. An opportunity I'm sure he would like to get back because his attempt went directly into the path of the keeper. Booted in, but as they've been doing, Dark Horse looking to be the dark horse of this group stage, upsetting a very powerful Pumas team. Had a conversation with a couple of gentlemen at halftime here who do think this could be the best team in the tournament. And so far, with no blemishes on their record, it's tough to argue against that. A team that we thought was going to really go undefeated was Boca Dallas. Marco Fabian's team, along with plenty of members from the Chihuahua Savage. Brian Macias, Roberto Escalante, the likes of Jorge Rios. These are names that may not be familiar to y'all at home, but names that are very familiar to those that are in and around the world of indoor soccer. In fact, we see indoor MASL representation on the pitch in terms of the officiating. Ryan Sigic. This is my first time getting to call a game with Ryan on this field. Ryan Sigic, the head of the referees in the Major Arena Soccer League. Quick backheel pass, very cheeky, looking to open things up. But Dark Horse United just throwing everything they can and the kitchen sink at the Pumas attack. The shot booted up and out of danger. That play was made by number 21, Parker O'Farrell. So set piece opportunity here from off the corner side for Pumas. Pass in To the box. One-time shot and a goal! Que golazo! Pumas de Alabama. Miguel Georgiana Hernandez finds the back of the net, threading through the netting, and Pumas takes the first lead of the game. You can feel the power. You can see it. That goal came with authority. There were bad intentions when that shot was fired by Georgiana Hernandez. And that brings us to where we are. First goal of the game with about 15 minutes remaining. Does Pumas smell blood in the water? So Dark Horse going back, still absorbing that attack. Pass goes towards the right. If you're watching this at home, and I assume you are, hopefully you're staying dry out there. Could this be the tie for Dark Horse? Oh, and coming out to make the play is the keeper for Pumas de Alabama, Luis Diego Gomez Luna. The official blows the whistle, Ryan Sigic. And this is an interesting set of circumstances here, as Dark Horse United has an opportunity here. Tate Lawrence draws the foul in the box. And can he find it? Can he find it past Luis Diego Gomez? The shot misses! What a save! And Pumas still hanging on to this lead. Actually, I stand corrected. The keeper is Alfonso Giovanni Rodriguez Granados. We're given the information that yesterday's keeper, Luis Diego Gomez Luna, was the starter. Or unless they changed him at the half. Actually, I didn't even notice that myself. And if that's the case, I apologize. Bad broadcaster. Backheel pass. Into the left. Cutting through. Cutting back. Going. God! Another goal for Pumas de Alabama. Jose Medina Alvarado puts the second one past Jacob Smith. Pumas now with a 2-0 lead. Alvarado actually played outdoor with the Pumas in Mexico City. Also played in the second tier in Mexico, Atlante at the time. And so he has another goal to notch on his bedpost here at TST. And now Dark Horse really operating on their back heels here as we head towards target score time. If this result holds, that target score will be 3. And while we're having that conversation, we might as well carry on with it. For those that are new, this tournament, every single game of it, all 134, will end with a game winner. That target score is 1 plus what the leader's tally is. So with Pumas having 2, you add the 1 to that, the target score is 3. The time is unlimited within target score time. It has to end with a game winner. So for Pumas, if they're in this situation, all they need is 1 to make the game 3-0. For Dark Horse, they are not done yet, but they would have to score 3 goals in that case. We saw teams do it. Plenty of teams do it yesterday and throughout the history of this TST, and we've had a lot of large comebacks in target score time. So it is very much possible. The target score time will start with 7 players. If there is no result after 3 minutes, then 1 player will be removed from each team, taking it from 7v6 to 6v6, then to 5v5, 4v4, but no less than 2v2. And that's going to be a foul on the pitch, drawn by number 5, James Carroll. I can hear it in my cans. Not sure if you could hear it through my mic. The rain pouring. For reasons unbeknownst to me, the song Africa by the band Toto comes into my mind. Although we're blessing the rains in Cary rather than in Africa. And I know some of y'all are going to go home or stay home and put that song on your playlist. Good enough song for the band Weezer to cover it, and they did a great rendition of it as well. Approaching that halfway point here within the second half, getting closer and closer to what is one of the best components of the TST, target score time. Yes, folks, TST is not just an acronym for the soccer tournament. It's also a big part of this game. Target score time. Taken away by Dark Horse. Potentially a clear path. Cutting through an exceptional cutback. But Uriel Zuart. Was that Zuart? No, it was not. I stand corrected. I thought it was him who made the play. The tackle, not a slide tackle, made by Jose Amaro Rios. Of course it wasn't a slide tackle, because we can't have slide tackles here at TST. Just like we can't have throw-ins, just like we can't have offside, and just like we can't have ties. And we're having a conversation with a couple gentlemen, and it's interesting. So several of the outdoor players, the legendary ones, your Miguel Layuns, your Mirandas, your Diego Godins, who we'll see back onto this pitch again later in the afternoon, as they go on their runs and make their counters, you can kind of tell that in the back of their mind they're thinking, I can't move up that forward. I don't want to get called offside. So that slight hesitation has crept and kept the door open for some of the small-sided players to attack. And Club America hasn't found much success in this tournament so far. Neither has Atletico Madrid. AFC Bournemouth, who we're going to see here, hasn't been lucky. But the teams that have the outdoor talent that have had success have some experience. The Wrexham Red Dragons, they have their experience. Even Sergio Aguero's team, where he mentioned that they were very much unprepared last season when they were knocked out during the group stages. They're undefeated coming into today. Not sure if they had their match yet. I haven't checked on that score line. But the outdoor players, the legendary ones, not necessarily the most successful ones. In fact, taking some of these small-sided soccer players for granted, and as I've seen time and time again during this tournament, just because you played in the World Cup doesn't necessarily mean you can play and carry. The bouncer, and ever so close, just got the wrong end of his boot on the attempt by Johnny McNeil. Had himself a clear look momentarily on Alfonso Rodriguez Granados. Now, I want to highlight him a little bit. Extensive experience playing small-sided. A world champ on the 7v7 side in Puebla back in 2023. Also a futsal champ in Copa America. So he's a big reason as to why Dark Horse didn't have the equalizer. There was a foul drawn in the box and a near opportunity for Dark Horse to get the equalizer. Backheel pass. That wasn't phasing Jacob Smith. In fact, it might have been a little too cutesy, but it would have been one heck of a goal had it come through into fruition. Going back is Hugo Rodriguez Abundis. He too was, or not was, still is, fantastic small-sided player. Competed in the FIFA Sevens League. 2018, he was part of the best seven as a player in that FIFA 7 League. So many tournaments that many of us who just follow the traditional route, unaware of, but having called games in the MASL small-sided space, getting to research and call teams like Pumas de Alabama, a lot to be learned. 6 minutes and 44 seconds remaining here before we head into target score time. Score still stands at Pumas 2, Dark Horse 0. Will Dark Horse crack through that Pumas team? Will Pumas find a way to score another? That would make it very difficult for Dark Horse in the target score time if Pumas managed to find another one. A tall hill, a steep hill it would be, but not one that is Everest-like. And even if it was, Everest was challenged and conquered, as have big leads in the TST during target score time.
NC United 0.
Pumas comfortably passing the ball from one side to the other, making the 45 yards of width seem even smaller. If Pumas can come out of the group stages undefeated, and where they're at right now, an opportunity, the chip in. Oh, and that nearly misses as Jose Medina Alvarado came oh so close to scoring a brace. But if no more goals get scored and Pumas can come out, they will leave the group stages with 12 goals for. So that would be the 2 they have. That would be 11, and they still need that 3 for the target score time to walk off this pitch victorious. Now we're at that 5-minute mark. Misjudged and nearly lost. Pass in on the right corner. Plenty of pink kits converging in. Headed out. And here's a deadly opportunity counter, and Pumas has the numbers. Ball should go into the right. And that was just a little too much for Ernesto Valdez-Torres. The counter was good, and Jose Medina Alvarado also had Hugo Rodriguez to the left of him, but opted to go right. As Rodriguez reclaims it, he looking to tee off on Jacob Smith. But that's going to deflect out for a corner. Uriel Zuar shot into a pink blockade. Oh, the rain. Will we see a rain of goals, or at least attempts right here? The pass, the push through. Says Jacob Smith. Rolls it in to the big body Johnny McNeil. McNeil over to Mbai. We haven't seen much of Mbai. We haven't called his name out all that much, just getting a couple of touches. Zuart to his left. Apiagi with pressure. That one elevated high into the air. Johnny McNeil shoulders it and puts it past Miguel Morales. Some numbers here. Apiagi just didn't have the touch as that one goes by him. McNeil was crashing into the box as well. Morales goes backwards. Apiagi. And that one comes out of play. It's going to stay on Dark Horse's side of the pitch. By getting set to take the corner. He has Johnny McNeil open to the left of him. Through ball. But not mistimed or misjudged by anybody from Pumas. Pass through. That opens things up within the midfield. Crossing through, cutting back, passing to the right. Another opportunity. Can this be it? And it is! Finding the back of the net for the third time today is Pumas, and for the first time, Miguel Morales. 3-0. Miguel showing the heart sign. Miguel Morales played in Liga MX with Pachuca. Also played in Peru. And so now that target score is going to add another +1 to it, so we're looking at 4. That is the amount of goals that Dark Horse is going to need if they're going to look to pull off the upset. Only 1 will be needed by Pumas if this result holds. Yes, folks, the Department of Redundancy department is back out and alive as well. Opting to go back to Smith. Smith can serve as an attacker. Just last night for quick goal, Hugo Silva found a goal. In fact, he scored 2 throughout the course of yesterday's group stages.
1 minute. The score.
All right, we're under 60 seconds.
Dark Horse AC United, yeah.
Apiyagi, very feisty player. Love to see the heart that young man has exhibited here. He's really doing a great job. You could tell he's playing with everything he has. Try to keep that in play. Was Miguel Morales. So 3 different goal scorers today for Pumas. Under 20 seconds remaining. Coming down in that final countdown. Under 10. Almost another goal, too. And Ryan Sigic blows his whistle, which indicates that target score time. Things aren't getting any drier here on Field 4 or in the soccer park for that matter. But, folks, the score thus far, that's not even a word, thus far, Pumas 3, Dark Horse 0. We're going to take 2 minutes to reassess ourselves, maybe dry ourselves off as well, make sure that we're not sitting anywhere where we're going to have a short circuit. And we're going to come back. You're going to see the rules once again for TST. You're going to grow weary and tired of me saying it, but you're going to have to stick around with me. And will we see a tremendous comeback from Dark Horse, or will Pumas walk out of the group stages undefeated? Stick around to find out. We got more action for you live from Field 4 here at the TST. Welcome back to soggy and wet Field 4 here at the WakeMed Soccer Park. This rain is fun. Living in Southern California the last 10 years, I don't pack much for rain. But I am wearing a rubber ducky t-shirt because it's only appropriate to rock rubber duckies on a rainy day. We're here in target score time. The target score is 4. Pumas needs 1. Dark Horse needs 4. So big hill for Dark Horse to climb. Now the way it's going to work is we're going to start 7v7 with both teams. No result. 3 minutes go by. 1 player gets taken out. We'll go and we'll continue to go until a winner gets declared, but it'll be no less than 2v2. And so the momentum favoring Pumas. But look, they were up 3-0 against Reggae Rovers just the other day, and Reggae Rovers came back. And so Pumas need to hit the target score of 4, but they didn't do it. They did it with an awful lot of headache. And so, as baseball great, I know soccer, but baseball great, Yogi Berra once said, could it be deja vu all over again? That would be up to Dark Horse. So the heat is certainly on the local legends. And I can't help but state it again. The rain really starting to come down right now. The one thing I didn't bring in was a poncho. No foul in the box. Ryan Sigich says no. And he's going to flash the yellow. So Tate Lawrence, who actually drew a foul within the box earlier, going to catch some strays from Ryan Sigich. Sigich pulls out a yellow card, I think, for what was the first time today. If there was another one, I clearly have missed it.
Yellow card for Dark Horse was on number 32, Tate Lawrence.
Back over to the keeper. Over to McNeil. McNeil going back. There you see that relentless pressure from Pumas. There's no slowing them down. There's no slowing down for them. They only know one speed. Go. And yes, that's it. Pass comes back into the midfield. Pumas being very calculating with their ball movement. Trying to pry through that Dark Horse defense. Weighing in his options was Ernesto Valdez Torres. So recovered, almost recovered. A battle, pushed back. And then back over to Granados. Parker O'Farrell had it just moments ago on that left side of the pitch, exactly opposite from us, by that Wrexham Lager banner. And so 3 minutes have expired, so we go from 7v7 to 6v6. As we saw in previous games, several games, as we get within 5, often has been the case where team that controls possession will pull their keeper and look to add an extra attacker, which of course is perfectly legal. Seen some bangers of goals scored by the keepers historically at the TST. Well, the only consideration of looking at the clock is to see whether or not the amount of players on the pitch is going to be reduced. So the only time I'll bring the clock up is going to be when it hits 3, where we're going to have to put on or take away more players. Pumas not really finding anything. No clear pathways to Jacob Smith here within the target score time. Up top, Johnny McNeil makes a defensive play. The forward pass. Could this be the target score that they need? Or the first one denying? The denial. A good run by Tate. But Granados with the save. Pass over to number 16, Gutierrez. Gutierrez, a winner within the Copa de Libertadores. Action. Johnny McNeil gonna stand out as my defensive player of the game. Certainly for Dark Horse. That man's covered a lot of ground. See a little spin, a little dipsy-do, a little pass off Aru. Ball gets elevated into the air, staying within the field of play. Tate Lorentz. Shoulder or body off the ball. Quickly played in. Tate riding on a yellow card. Farrell to McNeil. McNeil back over to Smith. In on that left side, but intercepted and headed away. Chance here for Pumas. There's McNeil again making another defensive play. Irving, Mauro, Zurita, Garcia. Goes back to Adrian Gonzalez, Sandoval. Sandoval, MX Futsal. To the midfield we go. Back. Just bottling in the anticipation. You know we're going to see something big and electric come from Pumas. Just a matter, not a matter of if, but certainly a matter of when. You don't carve through the opposition without having some moments of brilliance. But perhaps a stall tactic to get to a scenario where they do have less players on the pitch. So Uriel Zuar coming back on in this 5v5 scenario for Pumas. McNeil coming off for Dark Horse. Throws his hands in the air, not happy that he got taken out. He wants to play with the way that he's been competing today. Kid clearly is a gamer and a competitive individual who has a thirst to win. A player that has gotten a lot of touches on the pitch is Hugo Rodriguez Abundiz. No stranger to finding goals here at the TST. So that was about the closest Pumas has come towards the box here within this target score time, it seems. Up over to Hugo Isaac Rodriguez. My notes are starting to bleed ink right now, so if you hear me pausing, that's because I'm trying to read through some smeared penmanship. Could this be the attack that Pumas that needs? Zuart to his right. Threading through. Finally, Pumas with a ball in the box or close to it. See these conditions continuing to become tougher and tougher. Pass in. Is this it? In. And the goal! That is the game winner. Your target score time has been achieved. Excellent pass from Hugo Rodriguez Abundiz over to number 23, Hugo Isaac Rodriguez. He will be awarded the Golden Fleece. That Golden Fleece is a scarf presented by Adidas to the target score time game winner. And so number 23, Hugo Isaac Rodriguez, will have a lifetime pass to come back to hopefully carry North Carolina, because there's no reason this tournament should be anywhere else. He will get an unlimited pass to come back to the TST and wherever the TBT may be in the future. Folks, that was a fun one. If you're a fan of Pumas, your hats go off to Dark Horse United. They played until the final goal. There were some moments there, some outstanding play that I've seen. McNeil, obviously, defensively. And a lot of promising efforts from these boys. Hope to see a lot of them next year. I know several of them are with Tobacco Road. Hopefully we get to see them again next season. So Pumas de Alabama is going to come out of Group E undefeated as they are going to get into the knockout stages, which occur tomorrow. Again, your final score here from Field 4. Pumas de Alabama 4, Dark Horse United 0. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we're going to take a break, hopefully dry off. And we got more to come here from Cary, North Carolina.